Hey everybody, it's Megan and welcome to the Sandals Insider. So today I thought it would be fun to jump on and do a quick little episode answering some of the questions that I have gotten recently about Sandals and Beaches Resorts. So these questions have come to me through email or TikTok or Instagram, any of these platforms, and I just picked out a few of my favorites to share with you, and I would love to do a couple more of these series down the road. So if you have any specific questions that you would like answered in the next episode, feel free to drop the comments or shoot me an email. I'm always happy to answer them. Okay, so here we go. Question one. How far in advance should I book my trip to Sandals or beaches? So the answer here is very easy for me. So as soon as you know that you want to go, that is the best time to book the trip. So what's going to happen is you're going to put down a deposit on your trip. That deposit is most likely going to be $400, or it could be $1,000 if you're doing one of the over-the-water bungalows or the big villas at Turks or Negril. But most of the time, it's 400. And you're going to see advertised online that it says a $98 deposit. That's true. You can put down a $98 deposit. However, 3 weeks later, an additional $302 is going to be due. And so the actual deposit is $400. I don't like to mislead people. And so I always just say 400. So you're going to put down the $400 deposit. That deposit is fully refundable up until 45 days before you travel. And so if you see a great deal on a 777 or you're thinking about going and you're 80% sure you want to go, put down the deposit. You can always pull it back if something comes up. There's no strings attached to that. So as long as you're within the window, it's fully refundable. And so a lot of people, when we're talking about booking, they ask me, so what if I should I wait to see if this room goes on sale? These rooms book up so far in advance because if you are a fan of Sandals or Beaches, you know that you've got this fully refundable deposit that you can always pull back. So the regulars, they're putting down deposits years in advance. And so to get the room that you want, you kind of have to play this game and do it too. And if your room ends up going on sale further down the road, I can always call in for you and have that price adjusted lower. So if you book a room and then it goes on 777 during one of the qualifying dates, you can get that sale reapplied to your room price. So there's absolutely no reason to wait for it to go on sale. The only things that you can't have applied are promos that Sandals and Beaches offer. So, for example, if you book your trip and put down your deposit, and then in 4 months, Sandals is offering a promo for an excursion credit or something like that. Those are always only for new bookings. So you're not going to be able to apply those promos. But if the price drops, which it usually will not unless it goes on sale, we can have that price adjusted. So if that's confusing, please reach out. I'm happy to answer those questions. But ultimately, there's really no harm in putting down a deposit on a trip if you are interested in going. Playing the game of waiting and watching the prices is not going to ultimately work in your favor. Okay, question number two. Do Sandals and Beaches Resorts upgrade my room for free? So, do you ever get upgrades when you go? Or kind of tagging along with this, if I'm considering a room upgrade, should I wait until I get on the property and then will I get a deal to upgrade my room? So, those are two questions that kind of go together, but they do get asked to me quite a bit. Um, Sandals and Beaches pretty rarely will upgrade your room, usually because these resorts, they're on such high demand. These room categories really do sell out quite a bit. And so there's usually not a lot of wiggle room where they're upgrading people just for the heck of it. Sometimes if there's construction going on in your room area, you may get a room upgrade and get moved, but that's definitely not something that's regular. And if you get it, be happy and thankful and just don't count on it for your next trip. I always encourage people to book the room that they want right away to ensure that they get it. And the same thing applies for people who ask if they should wait and try to upgrade their room when they get there, you're not going to get a better deal by waiting and upgrading when you get to the resort. They're not going to say, oh, we just have this room. Sure, we'll give it to you at half the cost. That doesn't happen. So you're still going to pay the exact same amount if you upgrade before your trip or if you ask to upgrade when you go. And there's only the downfall when you go of it not being available. So again, as soon as you know that you want a particular room, just request it at that point. Don't rely on upgrades. Okay, question number three. It says that gratuity is included. Is gratuity really included, or am I going to go to the resort and realize that there's a lot of tipping happening around me? So, gratuity really is included. We are told as travel advisors when we go to the resorts for personal vacations or on work trips, please, gratuity is definitely included in the rate of the room. You do not need to tip, and you shouldn't expect to see other people tipping as well to get better service. There are certain people on the resort who you are allowed to tip, and I always advise my clients about this on the front end. So this is few and far between, but it's going to be, for example, your driver to and from the airport. Those are not Sandals and Beaches employees. They are contracted. And so while your transfer itself is included in the cost of the trip, you can tip your driver, and typically that is encouraged. Um, Other people that you can tip are if you go and get a spa service that may already be included in your bill. So please check that. But the spa is extra at Sandals and Beaches. And so you are able to tip those people as well. And then if you go on an excursion, so an excursion that is not included with Sandals, let's say it's through island routes, they have people that work for them that are the tour guides, and you are allowed to tip them. Again, they're not employed by Sandals or Beaches. That's kind of going to be your key here. If they're not employed, you are allowed to tip them. And then finally, if you are lucky enough to be staying in one of those butler category rooms, the butlers are able to be tipped, and it's a little bit more expected. That's part of how they get paid. So it's good to know and go into that when you have a butler room. To know that you should expect to tip them. Normally, it's at the end of the trip. You can just tip them all at one time. So you still don't have to feel like you're carrying around dollar bills and money around the resort. But other than that, my husband and I carry very little cash when we go on vacation at Sandals or Beaches, and I advise my clients the same. Okay, question number four. Somebody asked this to me recently. So they asked, what is one item that you think people don't think of to pack, or you would advise them to pack that is very important that might not be on their like main travel list? I thought about this for a little bit because there's always a few items, and I do try to advise my clients on certain things that I think that they should bring that they might not think about. But a big thing for me is a beach bag. And you think, oh, it's all inclusive. I'm not going to need to bring a lot of my stuff. But we love to have a beach bag. You put your room key in it, your suntan lotion, your phone if you're bringing that along during the day, waterproof phone case, um, just little stuff. You can throw your beach cover up in there when you leave your bag on the chair by the pool. So a beach bag is just nice, especially beaches and you have kids, like to have all that stuff in there. And then I always give the tip too. So a lot of times people, try to get in on the earliest flight possible, which is great because then you get the most time possible at the resort. If you have a beach bag, come prepared to change. So your room might not be ready until 3 o'clock, but you can get, before you're able to check in, you can still use the whole property. You can get drinks, you can get lunch, you can use the pool. And so in your carry-on, if you have a beach bag that you can grab with your swimsuit and, some sunscreen, cover up, whatever you need, just to go relax for a little bit by the pool, make sure that you have that. And then you can leave all your other stuff at the front desk or the club lounge or the butler lounge and go start your day and change and enjoy yourself. So the beach bag comes in super handy when it comes to those early flights. And then lastly, I've had some people recently ask about, Sandals is a brand. There's a lot of different locations. I understand they're in different countries, but it's a brand. And if you go to one, is it going to be pretty similar no matter where you go? Am I really just changing location? And the answer to that is no. These resorts are very, very different. They're different in, the number of restaurants and what restaurants they have. They're different in if they've got a bigger pool or a bigger beach. They're different in the atmosphere. Some resorts, it tends to be, quite a bit younger of a crowd where it's a bit more lively. And some people might even say it's more of like a party atmosphere, and others are smaller and very low key and quiet. So, finding the best resort for you or just for you on that specific trip is super important so that you can enjoy yourself and know what to expect. If you're a scuba diver, where are the best dive sites? Those are the kind of questions that working with a travel advisor like myself, we're going to be able to help you and guide you. I never try to sell people on anything. I just really try to give you honest information so that you can make the best decision for you and myself, other travel advisors. There's no cost to use our services. So it is only going to work in your favor. You're not going to get an upcharge on your room. You're not going to get a bill from me. It's really just the advisor working to help you find the best fit, the best room, knowing what you're getting when you get on your trip. And that is one of the main benefits of using a travel advisor. And I strongly encourage you to reach out to me or somebody else to help you book, because not only are you supporting a small business, but you're also going to get a lot of other wonderful perks. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out. I would be happy to help you answer any questions you have about sandals or beaches. And like I said, if you have questions that you want me to answer, I just did a handful today to keep it short, but I hope to do another one of these in a couple weeks and keep them rolling with some of the most popular questions that I get and answer it on this YouTube channel. So follow along, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.